It's the Wilk Report. I'm Michael Wilk, coming to you from Cleveland, Ohio, with a follow-up to my earlier video about Terminator Dark Fate's lackluster opening weekend. Now, the movie basically did about $28-29 million at the box office in its opening weekend, but now we've got an article from Sunday, November 3rd, from Variety.com, saying that Terminator Dark Fate could actually lose over $100 million at the box office. So I thought I'd do a follow-up video from that, basically try and figure out what this means for Paramount, Skydance, and Disney, all of which put up each 30% of the financing, and China's Tencent Pictures put up the remaining 10%. But what does this mean for the franchise? Well, let's go to Hollywood Reporter and Variety and also The Wrap for a little bit of insight into what's going on here. So start off with Variety. This is a really damning headline by Rebecca Rubin. Box office bomb, Terminator Dark Fate could lose over $100 million. Terminator might not be back anytime soon. Dark Fate, the most recent installment in the sci-fi series, fell flat at the box office and stands to be a big money loser for Paramount, Skydance, and Disney, the studios backing the big-budget tentpole. The sixth Terminator entry debuted with a dismal $29 million in North America and $102 million overseas, disappointing figures for a movie that cost $185 million to produce, plus $80 to $100 million in global marketing and distribution fees. Unless Terminator Dark Fate sees an exceptionally strong hold in the coming weeks, sources at rival studios estimate the movie could lose $100 million theatrically. It will be able to earn back some of that money in television and streaming licensing deals, as well as through home entertainment sales and rentals. But right now, the projections are not looking good. Paramount, Skydance, and Disney through 20th Century Fox co-financed the movie, meaning any potential damages will be broken up among the Hollywood companies. The three studios each put up 30% of the budget, with China's Tencent contributing the remaining cash. Box office experts say the film needs to earn around $450 million to break even, but predict that Terminator Dark Fate will end its box office run with an uninspiring $180 to $200 million globally. Paramount and Skydance, the companies responsible for releasing Dark Fate domestically, hoped the latest movie would kick off with over $40 million in North America, but after it fell short of expectations, insiders at rival studios suggest it's unlikely Dark Fate will hit triple digits in the United States and might not even pass $70 million. The movie failed to make up much ground overseas, where it's playing in 80% of foreign markets. China was expected to be a key market for the tentpole release, but launched with an underwhelming $28 million. After a weak start, sources estimate it could struggle to reach $50 million in that territory. They made a bad decision in greenlighting the film with this particular budget, said Eric Handler, a media analyst with MKM Partners. They were clearly hoping this franchise could still resonate overseas, and it didn't really do that. Now, the most recent Terminator movies, 2009's Terminator Salvation and 2015's Terminator Genisys, were both panned by critics and failed to recoup their pricey budgets. Terminator Dark Fate was hailed as a return to form for the 35-year-old franchise, even landing a B-plus cinema score from audiences and a 69% average on Rotten Tomatoes. But not even the presence of original stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton, along with series creator James Cameron on board as a producer, could ignite enough interest among moviegoers. Despite mostly positive reviews, critics said the latest entry didn't bring much new to the decades-old series, which has been mined and mined again for numerous offshoots and TV shows. This is an aging franchise with aging actors, and the reviews were mediocre, Handler said. As good of a franchise as this might have been, it doesn't have the same appeal now. And of course, my last video, I went ahead and discussed the storytelling flaws that make the movie unwatchable for a lot of people. So let's go over to Hollywood Reporter, because they're saying this thing could actually lose about $120 million, which is an extra $20 million from what Variety was reporting. So let's go over here. A storied Hollywood film franchise has been terminated, at least for the foreseeable future. Terminator Dark Fate bombed in his global box office debut over the weekend, grossing just $29 million in the United States, well behind expectations. Nor was its performance much better overseas, where it has earned $94.6 million to date, including a lackluster China launch of $28 million, for a global total of $123.6 million. Dark Fate faces losses of $120 million plus for partners Skydance Media, Paramount Pictures, and 20th Century Fox, which each put up 30%. Yeah, so basically rehashing what I just said. The red ink could end up at $130 million if the pick doesn't hold internationally. Conversely, the losses could be closer to $110 million if it does have strong legs offshore. Now, while the losses will be spread around, Dark Fate's surprisingly poor performance is a blow for David Ellison's Skydance, which has spent tens of millions to try to reboot the James Cameron created series that first hit the big screen in 1984. It's also a blow for Paramount, which needs franchises. Ellison's first attempt was 2015's Terminator Genisys, released in partnership with Warner Brothers. The film, which costs more than $150 million to produce before marketing, grossed $448.6 million globally, so it wasn't a financial disaster. It earned more than $100 million in China alone, but faltered in the United States, where it topped out at $89.8 million. Genisys was supposed to be the first of a trilogy, but was reviled by critics. Ellison quickly scrapped the two follow-ups and went back to the drawing board. He arranged for Cameron to come back and produce a movie that would be a direct sequel to the first two films, The Terminator and Terminator 2 Judgment Day, both of which were directed by Cameron, as well as helped arrange for the return of original series stars Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger. So box office analysts say the movie's poor opening is a reflection of complete IP failure. Insiders at Paramount and Skydance actually don't disagree. So yeah, when the studios actually aren't arguing with the spin, yeah, that's a problem. It is time to let this franchise finally go to the great beyond, says Eric Handler of MKM Partners. As Jeff Bach of Exhibitor Relations, this definitely is the end of the line for the Terminator franchise in its current iteration. That says IPs are harder to kill off than Jason Voorhees these days, so expect a new series in 5 years on CBS All Access, probably animated this time. Oh, God, I'm sure he was joking there, but good God in heaven, don't give CBS any ideas. So none of the companies involved would comment on the losses, but sources close to Skydance say there are currently no plans for another film at this point. Ellison acquired the rights to Terminator from his sister, producer Megan Ellison, who bought them for a reported $20 million in 2011. So yeah, this is not looking good. So, and of course, another Hollywood Reporter article, although this one's written by a shill for the new movie. But I wanted to highlight the relevant comment here. Given Dark Fate's box office struggles, a movie sequel is likely in doubt. While the theatrical window for this Terminator series may be over, perhaps the franchise can find favor with audiences and continue on through a streaming series. Distributor Netflix already has a deal with Paramount, and seeing the continuing adventures of Danny Ramos and Sarah Connor play out in that format may be worth exploring. Well, not really, because the story sucked. I mean, if people wouldn't go see the movie in the theaters, what makes you think they're going to tune in on Netflix? So, yeah, I think this is kind of wishful thinking. Then we've got TheWrap.com talking about what happened with John Connor. So, but yeah, this goes to what I was talking about with the Novikov principle. And really, it's kind of a forgettable article because it's really nothing of substance here. But the last paragraph here says, in that sense, probably didn't ever matter, actually, if John Connor survived in the past. No matter what, somebody would have led humanity to victory in the end. So that kind of cheapens the first two Terminator films. Because honestly, if this was always meant to happen, I mean, but you're also really giving more credit than the writers and the director really deserve for this. I mean, something like this, really, I mean, opening weekend, and people are already talking about the end of the Terminator franchise on the big screen, and the studios aren't even arguing the point. That's not good news for the Terminator. And it certainly doesn't bode well for Paramount, especially. I mean, Paramount and Skydance probably, especially, they cannot handle a big loss like this. Disney can absorb it because it's Disney. They're pretty close to monopolizing the entertainment industry at this point, so they're not going to suffer too much financially, especially since it was a four-way split among four different studios. But, you know, Tencent only put up 10%, so it's only taking 10% of the losses. Paramount and Skydance are each taking 30% hit. Disney's taking a 30% hit through 20th Century Fox, but Paramount really has been struggling over the last 10 years. It's the Star Trek reboot series has failed spectacularly on the big screen. STD, by all rights, should have been canceled by now, but I suspect that nobody wants to admit to having flushed so many millions of dollars down the toilet on a show that really alienates audiences. So CBS probably won't admit defeat here so easily, but Paramount, yeah, they don't really have much to go with. And Skydance, who knows if that'll even survive. But what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. If you like what you've heard and you want to hear more, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to receive notifications whenever we upload new content. Be sure to hit that like button and share this video. And if you want to help support the channel, keep the lights on, help us bring you more content, head over to our Patreon or subscribe star page. You can also help contribute to my GoFundMe for raising money for technology. Can't do this without you. Until next time, this is Michael Wilk for the Wilk Report saying take care, good night, I'm out.